Okay, it says that we're live, and we're just gonna wait for people to find us. Make sure that Facebook shows us to people. How are you today, Tiffany?
I am good. I am peaceful. And how are you?
I don't think I've ever said like I'm peaceful before. I don't think that's a word I'd ever use to describe myself.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm good. I'm focused today.
oh, yes. I feel rather focused as well.
Yeah, so that's a good feeling. And just from when everybody's logging in, I just want to make sure that people find us. Got about 28 people on right now. There was a huge response to the event. I was shocked and excited at the same time.
Hmm.
So that's good. All right. Well, I guess I will get started. I'm just going to move my screens over just a little bit so I can see everything and remove this. Oh, I see people in the comments. Hello, Kieran. Hi. My friend from I haven't talked to Kieran in forever. Ira Creamer. Hi. Hi, Alyssa. Angelina is on. Hey, Marie. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. All right. So, welcome, everyone. My name is Megan, and I am here with Tiffany from Nigh Functioning Autism. Welcome, Tiffany. Um, Give us a little rundown about yourself, what you do, who you are, all of the things.
Okay. I am a mother to three neurodivergent children. Um, I write for the social media platforms, Nigh Functioning Autism, which is a play on words and kind of makes fun of functioning labels. Um, and I am a part time AAC user because I am autistic. I have ADHD and I have OCD and epilepsy. And with the combination of sensory and just like neurological things. Like sometimes it's harder to speak, so I use AAC, especially when I'm out in public, and I only use the phone with AAC. I mean, I only use when I if I use the phone, it's with AAC.
Nice. Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you. And when you use your phone, what are you using mostly? Do you have a preferred app that you're using?
Oh, I meant when I am using voice phone, like the not the device, but like talking real time
Gotcha.
over. Yeah.
Well, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And I see Alyssa, yes, absolutely. Please do share maybe multiple times so that as the comment thread gets going, it won't get hidden. Thank you, Alyssa, for sharing that. So my name is Megan, and I am the creator of Not an Autism Mom, which is a play on words as well. And I am the parent of 4 children, and 2 of them are autistic, and one of them is mostly non-speaking in the 2nd grade. And so we've been doing our kind of AAC journey since he was 4. I do want to talk about our AAC journey and the issues that we've had. I consider myself a pretty privileged person. College educated, I was a teacher before the twins came along. taught inclusion classes, never heard about AAC, didn't know what AAC was really. If I did, it was something up here that I didn't really know, like maybe some of my kids had in the classroom had a device maybe, but it wasn't something that I thought was accessible just to like, that it was accessible at all. So when Jay was 4, we switched doctors. And the doctor was like, hey, maybe Jay has something to say. Why don't we get him assistive technology assessment? And I was like, okay, sure. And up until then, he had been in preschool since the twins turned 2, they were in preschool. Nobody had ever mentioned AAC device, AAC apps or anything. So this was all new to me. So my doctor, who was fabulous, gave us the referral for an AAC assessment or an assistive technology assessment. We waited 2 months for the appointment and then had the simple assessment of basically it's kind of like a preference. Do you like this one better or this one better? I think they tried LAMP, which was pretty cool, but he graduated. He liked Proloquo to go better, and so that worked for us. But then we did our insurance company made us get a rental device. So about 4 months later, this is like six months into our process, we got a rental device and had to jump through about 1,000 hoops to go to these therapy sessions and training sessions. And, maybe you'll get approved and maybe you won't through your insurance. And it was a chaotic time trying to get this AAC device, right? Like really chaotic. I had a lot of help back then. I had assistants with me. I had like all of these things, and it was still very chaotic and really hard to get. And then at the end of our rental period, after Jay had learned how to use Proloquo to go, and he was like really good on it, in school, doing his colors and his numbers and telling us the once, and he found the McDonald's button. We had to send it back to the company in order for us to get approval or final approval and get to get his device, right? So not only did it take that long, over a year, to get this whole process, we had to send it back. We had to take it away from him in order to get it back. And so it wasn't until like, I don't know, 6 months later, even maybe a year later, that I learned that Proloquo to go is just an app, like that I could have downloaded myself on my iPad. Granted, it's an expensive app, right? It's, sometimes it's almost $300 and it goes on sale twice a year for half off. But, I think I would have liked to have known that, right? Like an AAC app is something that you can download. Some of them you can download on your tablet or Android. Some of them are only on iOS, which is true for Proloquo and all of AssistiveWare's apps. But it's not something up here, right? It's not this device, like all together. You have to get this thing and it's thousands of dollars. It's not. It's an app that you can download from the iStore or whatever, the Play Store, and you can download it on your tablet. So that's a lot of words to say that AAC has not been accessible as it should be for anybody. A lot of words to say that. So what we're going to talk about today is Proloquo and Proloquo Coach and how it kind of mitigates all of that gatekeeping, all of that, all those accessibility problems. It really does take the power away, not away from the doctors and the medical community, but it shifts power into the parents' hands, into the educators' hands, into anybody that's working with our kids one-on-one. It shifts that power so that you can have some of that power. Do you have anything to say about that? Accessibility, AAC, have you had any issues with that in your experience, Tiffany?
Yes, I feel like had I known about it sooner, I wouldn't have had to struggle for my entire adult life because there has been some form of that. Also, uh, yeah, the prices of them, yeah, they are a little bit inaccessible for people. Even when they are on sale, they are sometimes financially inaccessible to some people. But there are organizations, there are not for nonprofits, there are lending libraries at your local disability resource offices. Every state in the United States has one. I'm not sure about outside of the United States, but I do know that every state and the District of Columbia has one. Um, and there are um, other organizations for adults who might just need the help with an app or to purchase like a used um, tablet that they could just use that for. So there are ways of getting around certain types of inaccessibility, and fortunately, we have something like this where you are getting around that financial uh, barrier, and then yeah. So that's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that. I just want to add to that how that the inaccessibility of it all, the gatekeeping at the highest levels, it really does bleed into our school system in terms of inclusion, right? Like the bureaucracy of the school systems. You have to have an assistive technology assessment in order for your kid to have, for them to provide this, and you know the lack of shareability of it all. They have to have however many accounts or whatever you call it at their school. So yeah, your kid's teacher might have it, probably is new to it, but nobody else has it to learn on it. Nobody else is modeling it. It's that limited, only a few people even see what is happening with it, even see the how it's organized and things like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it bleeds into our school system because the teachers, through no fault of their own, don't know how to do it, right? They don't know how to teach and reach our kids the way they need to be reached, especially on this level, right? Like my son is now fully included, and none of his teachers have ever taught an AAC user before, ever. I think is the first AAC user that is in second grade at their school, maybe. I can't, I don't know that for sure, but nobody's ever taught an AAC user before. And before that, like every year before that, like their teachers they segregate our kids out. They segregate non-speaking kids out at kindergarten, and even before that, at sometimes with special education preschool, they're just segregated from speaking and non-speaking. And I can attest to that because I have twins. One is speaking and one is mostly non-speaking, and they just split them. So this new breakthrough in AAC that AssistiveWare has created is going to have such an effect on inclusion that I can see the possibilities now with what they've done with this. So we're going to go into it. All right. You ready, Stephanie? And I am looking at the comments. I'm so excited to everyone. This is it. Communication is a human right, and it needs to be more accessible to everyone. Yes, we are all with you there. And it's true that so many parents, I'm in a lot of parent groups, and I see on a daily basis parents with 5-year-olds and above, all the way to middle school, of non-speaking children, and they don't know what an AAC device is. I asked, does your kid have an AAC device? And they're like, well, what's that?
I see that even older than middle school.
Yeah.
I see that, unfortunately. No idea that there are other options.
Right. And we did a live before. I don't know if Kimberly and Angelina are on my admins. Thank you, both of you. If you can drop that link for the live that we did about what is AAC and how to get one for your kid, if you could drop that link in the comments, it'd be awesome, because we have talked about this before. All right, so let's talk about the new app Proloquo, and it comes with a sister app, kind of like an auntie app with it, and it's included. But I'm gonna start with Proloquo, and it is really similar to Proloquo to Go, right? I think that they kind of based it off of Proloquo to Go's model, and I've talked to several of the people who had a hand in making Proloquo, the new app, and they kind of walked me through their thought processes, and they kind of stripped down all of the things that we just do with AAC just because it's done, and we don't really know why we're doing it. We're just doing these things, and just they rethought everything, and built a completely new app kind of based on Proloquo to Go. So let's kind of talk about the similarities and differences of Proloquo and Proloquo to Go. I tried to figure out how to share this, how to connect with this on my screen, but this is the new app, Proloquo. If you can see here. No. Home screen. On Proloquo to Go, if you have that already, you can customize that app. Thank you. Okay, what is that? Okay, Proloquo, that's Proloquo. Okay, you can customize Proloquo to Go in so many ways, right? You can change the grid size, and sometimes that's great for some people, right? Tiffany, can you tell us why having that customization option is a good thing?
For me in particular, I like to have on one screen I might want to have huge buttons. On another screen, I want as much as I can possibly see. So it just depends on what is on that particular button. Usually, if I have longer things or maybe like phrases or something, I want bigger buttons so I can see more. And when it's something that have like one word or a picture, I want I want as much as I can say easily on the screen at one time. And I do that sometimes with just the words and no pictures as well. But I'd like to see one word and things like as many as I can see. And it just makes it easier when you're using it to use it how it's like intuitive for you. So I really like to customize it a lot, and I'm the type of user that
yeah, I've seen that on Instagram, and especially for adults and for people who are more knowledgeable about AAC. It is great to have all those customizations, right? Like to be able to customize it however you want to. You got this screen looks like this screen looks like that. And I love seeing your Instagram where you have it so that you show all of these different customizations. So the new app Proloquo is not as customizable when it comes to the home screen. There is a fixed home screen. You cannot change the grid size, and you cannot change the buttons on the home screen. And I'm going to talk about why that's good from a personal experience. I took Jay to a speech therapist over COVID time. I was like, we're not doing anything. Maybe we'll go and do some AAC training. So I looked up a great company around here who looks very neurodiversity affirming, AAC experts, and so I went in there and I kind of had a laundry list of things that I was going to have and wasn't going to have, right? Like, we're not going to do this token, like, you're not going to give them a goldfish, right? We're not in any rush. You can just hang with him and like do natural things, build a relationship. We're not in a rush. In the first day that Jay went in there to meet with her, she changed his grid size because he has always been able to do the highest grid, the smaller buttons, because he's great with the my phone. He's great with the YouTube. He's great with, just those fine motor things on electronics. So he's always been able to have the most amount of buttons with folders. He can navigate it. And as soon as we went in there, she changed his grid size and there was like 20 buttons up there. And then left. Then we had to leave. So I had to message Pamela, AssistiveWare Harris, that's in the chat. Thank you, Pam, for being here. And I was like, help me. What do I do to fix this? Because this is not okay. And so she got me straight. But the thing about Proloquo, the new app, is that nobody's going to be able to do that to your kids' grid, right? They made this app for kids with good vision and pretty good fine motor coordination, that are able to, work the iPhones and work the iPads, play games and stuff. If your kid is able to do that, they're able to use this app. And it safeguards against, it puts safeguards in there to make sure that you're doing best practices. I don't want to say worst practices, not a safeguard against worst practices, but it makes sure that you're using best practices, which means the most amount of buttons, this amount of buttons, not changing it around, not being able to change when you go to a specific order. You're not going to have like all these different options to mess up the core words, and it was really confusing on Proloquo to go. Like, what core words do I want with this folder? And this is a verb, so what do I do with this? You don't have to worry about any of that on Proloquo, on the new app. So I think that's really great, especially when we're talking about in the school setting, right? So if you have 7 AAC users at your school, and most of them are using the same app, they're mostly using Proloquo, it means everybody's home screen is the same. That means my kid can go into this other kid's room, into another teacher's room, and the teacher will know what the home screen looks like. It doesn't have to search. It's always the same. So that is a pro about the new apps, customization limitations, if you will. And we have to say that for kids who need more, what is the word I'm looking for, Tiffany? More accessibility options or more something.
Support, more fine motor support, more visual motor support.
Right. Then Proloquo to go is still your best option, probably. I mean, you have to, you work on that on your, you figure that out. I don't know, but it's still, Proloquo to go is not going anywhere. It's still there. It's still a fantastic app. So yeah, so we got the fixed home screen. We've got a fixed grid size. And let's talk about my favorite part of this. Okay. When we click on a word, synonyms come up for the word. This is my favorite part of Proloquo. And they call it related words. So, Tiffany, you had a hand in making this happen. Don't you do focus groups and...
Oh, AssistiveWare does adult chats for the users. Yes, we do give feedback and talk about the features. Yes.
And this was something that y'all must have said, you know, it would be great if we could have some synonyms or related words to pop up.
It's really good for Gestalt like language processors, um, or people who have word finding issues. So, like before or after a seizure, I tend to not be able to think of words at all. So, having something that has the word and the picture, and then it brings synonyms in the text, that's very helpful for word finding. So yes. Also, it's good for like people who are having recall issues as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
And for Proloquo to go, some of the words had that kind of option where you could maybe set it up where if you clicked on the word is, like the to be verbs come up, that will pop up kind of like in a little box and you can click on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that didn't happen and I could never figure out what setting that was. So like if you're going to say I am, right? I'm going to close this up. If you're going to say I am on this, all of these related words come up here that you can choose from. Sorry about that, everyone. All of these related words come up here. So instead of am, I might want to say I'm not, right? Or ain't. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. So you can click on your related word that you want to put in there and it changes it for you automatically. So I wasn't. And it'll change it for you in the text automatically. So you don't have to do any backtracking. I mean, honestly, this type of, and I wish I could have shared the screen. I just can't figure that out on how to do it up here. But it is so much more accessible to have these related words just popping up for you. So, like if you wanted to say, I want something, then all of the parts of speech come up: wanting, wanted, wanter. I don't know what that is, but also crave comes up. I crave something, or I dream something, or I hope or wish something. All of these words come up so that you don't actually have to think of that or find that particular word. You can just figure out, like, you can say, oh, well, something like this, and then a related word pops up. I think that is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Tiffany.
And I have a child that has dyslexia, so that would be awesome for when they use it, because of you start with the home screen, like the picture and the text, and then it gives you all the different texts that are related, which is very helpful for somebody. And also, Kieran said aphasia. That was the one I was trying to think of, where you have exactly. Yes, it's awesome for those with aphasia. Yes.
What is aphasia again? I guess
it's where you have I think it's a complete loss. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the definition, but it's a complete loss of being able to think of the words, like through the symbols, like through the text, and in your mind as well. But um, I know it from having different patients with it when I was in EMT, but as the definition, I'm going to look that up specifically.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot there. So you're like, I know what it is. I just can't describe it.
Yeah.
Maybe aphasia. Maybe. Okay, this is a great question. Okay, go ahead, Tiffany.
There are 3 types, and it's basically the loss of ability to understand or express speech. So it doesn't say anything about the written word and or language. Yes. So the written word as well. The different types of aphasia. Yes.
Gotcha.
There are Broca's, Wernicke's, and global aphasia, which is where the brain was damaged in which particular part of the brain.
Oh, wow.
So that's how they differentiate what type of aphasia you have, and that determines written or speech comprehension.
Thank you for that. This is a great question, and this was something else I was really excited about, so thank you for bringing it up. What about sentence structure, object, verb, subject? So this is another great thing about Proloquo that was not accessible to me in Proloquo to go. I mean, like me trying to work with Jay and figuring out where words were. You know, you had like some green boxes and some purple boxes and pink boxes, and like I knew that they meant some part of speech, and I wasn't really sure like how to do that, and they were all kind of like in little patterns on the screen, right? So it was kind of weird. And this, they have really set it up like a sentence. So you have in the first column is your subject. You've got I, me, my, you, it.
That's the side.
Yes. This, that, we. And then you have, if you click on the top of it, more show up, right? Like no one, nothing.
That's this.
Yes. Those are the folders. If you click on those at the top of the columns, more options show up, and you can even add your own as well. And so in the second column, you have a verb, right? I'm going to just click home. I'm going to go to my verbs. Is, am, are, was, were, have, has, had, do, does, did. Can, see, will. And you click on that column and more show up. So hear, feel, smell, touch, apply, compare, predict. All of these different words all of these different verbs that you can choose from. And so you've got your subject, your verb, and then in the third column, is more verbs, right? So the second column might have been linking verbs. Pamela knows better than me because I don't know all of my parts of speech that well, but the second column might be linking verbs, and then the third column is other verbs, right? So touch, there's more. Touch, feels, mind, forget, describe, compare. Oh, that's the second one. Stop, leave, come, help, learn, read, write, ask, say, all of these different verbs that you can choose from. And then in the fourth column here is the green buttons, and these are your prepositions, I think. On, to, like you're going to somewhere, from, up, down, under, over, around, about. And Pamela is in the comment section probably correcting everything I say, but it is just like how regular sentences are, right? And with Proloquo to go, it seemed much harder to create a sentence when you were looking through folders for stuff, and then the core words changed depending on what folder you were in, and then you had to kind of backtrack, and there was all of this energy, right, that the kids are using to try to find words, and it became harder to, not saying that you should have to make a complete sentence, because you don't have to do that at all, right? If you know what the person's saying, know what the person is saying. So, but this makes it so that you can more easily create a sentence. Someone said, this is a good question. My student has low vision. Can a print size be enlarged? So no, I do not believe that is an option on Proloquo. So Proloquo to go would still be a better option for students with or kids with low vision and fine motor coordination. You want to talk about, somebody asked about the Qwerty Keyboard. That is always on the home screen. Access to the Qwerty Keyboard is always there, which is not true on Proloquo to Go. I don't believe you can either click a button to show the keyboard or not. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it is always accessible down there where Tiffany is pointing and the Qwerty Keyboard comes up. Tiffany, you want to talk about the Qwerty Keyboard and just some features that are not there and differences between Proloquo to Go and this? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. There you are.
I really, really love this keyboard on this version of Proloquo, just Proloquo, the app. It has everything that you need on the keyboard. It's in a very neat It's in a very neat
I can
setup.
do it while you talk.
Oh, okay. It's in a very neat setup, and you can get to the numbers easily. And
yeah, I like that.
On most AAC apps and Proloquo to Go, it was kind of hard to go backspace without deleting the symbol and text previous. So this has a lot of different, you see the number, the arrows right here. I have mine in dark mode.
I see that. I love that. I like that better.
Everything I do is dark mode. So right there. Yes. Mm-hmm. So those arrows are very helpful. And it's just a really very nice keyboard.
I like how the numbers are up there too. And it is, and it's nice and spaced out too. It didn't feel scrunched up. A lot of Apple keyboards seem, in Proloquo to Go, it's the Apple keyboard for me.
Oh yeah, I always change my
device. It was the Apple keyboard. So it was kind of scrunched up a little bit, like all of the buttons were really close together. And this one feels more spaced out. Oh, and thank you, Aaron Sheldon, who actually created the vocabulary and related words and all of the things for this app is in the comments and is correcting me on the columns and what parts of speech they are. Thank you, Aaron, for that. I appreciate it. Tiffany Hammond. Hi, Tiffany. From Fidgets and Fries is in the comments. Is there a trial? Yes, there is a free trial for Proloquo and the sister app, which we're about to get to next. There's a free trial for 1 month for everyone. So you can get it, play with it, learn from the Coach app. That's for everybody. If you already have Proloquo to Go, if you're already a Proloquo to Go user, there's an additional discount that Pam can kind of go through that. I think it's in the event. Pam can help you with that. There's an additional discount for like 6 months free or something like that for Proloquo to Go users that already have that. So Pam can help you with that. All right. Are you able to remove the images from the buttons and just display the words? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but luckily we have Pam and Aaron in the comments to help with that. Is there a search option? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question. I feel like this person is leading me to the next thing, keeping me on track. Yes, the search button is fantastic on Proloquo. So let's say I could never find Poon on Proloquo to Go. I don't know where it went. It might have disappeared. I might have hit it or something. That's another thing that happens with Proloquo to Go. You can hide buttons and do all of this stuff stuff that I didn't even know I was doing, and the button might just not be there anymore. It might be saved for later or something. But here, there is a search button that is right on the home screen. Here's your home screen, and your search button is right here. So let's say I want to look for spoon. I'm going to type in spoon and press search. And it has 2 results for spoon. Aaron Sheldon and I did spoon the other day because spoon is, you can spoon somebody. It's like a thing. But so I'm going to click on spoon, the food utensil, and it's going to pop up and show me where to go. It just did it. Here it is. Can you see it blinking?
Yeah.
So I'm going to click on food. Utensils is popping up. So I'm going to click what's popping up. Okay, so it's utensils and appliances. And then spoon pops up and it shows me where to go. So it's helping with that muscle memory, that that mapping kind of thing for the kids to learn exactly where that word is. You have anything to say about that, Tiffany?
Yes, I use the search option often. I love that it is on Proloquo to go to that. It's like a guided to kind of help you remember where everything is. Yeah. It's something that more modelers should be using often, as a way of showing kids that and actually any age that they can look for things that if they don't know where they are.
Right. You don't always have to know where a word is. Nobody always knows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay to do, for sure. All right. So there's another thing that I love about Proloquo is that it's really easy to add buttons and folders on it. In Proloquo to go, you have to like go to your settings and click on like access, and if you want to be able to edit or not edit, and then when you go to a button to add it, it's like, where do you want to add it? And sometimes the home screen gets too big and it has a second home. I don't know. To me it was great to have the option to edit and add buttons. However, it did make it a little sloppy for Jay's Proloquo to go app. And in this one, it makes it a lot easier. Like it is, I'm not going to go through how to add it because it's as easy as saying edit, add, and then it just shows you what to do, right?
It's just a lot more intuitive.
It is. It's updated.
Yeah.
Streamlined.
Yeah.
The process is streamlined. I'm not saying it was hard in Proloquo to go, but it was, you had to kind of think about it, and now it's more like a software update, kind of. Like it's super easy to add buttons, super easy to put your picture in the button. Like I already added myself to Jay's family or whatever. So it's very easy, much more updated. So I love that streamlined process. Let's talk about Coach, Tiffany. I'll just tell them about what it is. When you get Proloquo, you sign up for an AssistiveWare account. And then you can also download, it's like a sister app. It is included. It is an app for parents or educators that teaches you about AAC and how to use Proloquo with your kid. So it's all included for the $9.99 a month. And it is fantastic. Okay, take it away, Tiffany.
What I like about it is it goes through and gives you resources along the way. So there are links to videos, not just from AssistiveWare or Proloquo, but to other outside resources. And it just takes you through everything, and it's very, I would say, almost necessary for anybody who is new who is a caregiver of an AAC user. It gets you in the right mindset, but also gives you specific items and tasks and things you can do along the way. So
Almost
I
like
love
an
it.
instruct and then practice kind of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I love that. I think it's I'm not I it's something that should have been, years ago, but now we got it, and it's really necessary for people to have something that guides them to implementing AAC. And it's not just, I don't think it's just for this app. Like this guide, this coach, I went through it. It's good for any person who is a caregiver to an an AAC user in general.
That's big facts. I was asking Pamela about that too. Like, well, can people who have Proloquo to go, who are going to stay with that app, can they have the coach? Would it be good for them? And I mean, while it's geared to Proloquo and like the
Yeah.
app, the practicing part of it, like it takes you, Proloquo Coach takes you from square zero, right? Not even square one. It's telling you, what is AAC? What did I just download, right? Like, what is AAC? Why do we use it? It also gives you like myths about AAC, right? Like you go into the school or you go into the SLP and the SLP is like, oh no, we got to wait and see. Let's try this first. And it teaches best practice.
Yeah.
It gives you links to further reading so you can go back in and say, hey, look at this link, SLP, and what do you think about this, right? This says that you're never too young to have AAC. You're never too, you don't need any you don't have to pass any tests to have this app and start using it. So I love that part about it as well. I mean, it takes you from square one, like and educates the parents or the instructor, whoever subscribes to the app, they get coached with it. So if you're an educator that you subscribe to the app, like, because you know that it could benefit your kids, you have coach too. So it's going to teach you best practices. It's going to teach you how to use it. It's going to teach you all of the things. And you're right, Tiffany. It has been much needed for a long time. And I'm so happy that AssistiveWare thought of it.
I would say the mindset piece at the beginning is like extremely important, and I'm happy that was considered, because as a caregiver to somebody who is using, and you are supposed to be modeling AAC, you have to be in the proper mindset or it won't be successful. So yeah, there were, just take advantage of every link that they put in there. Watch all those videos, read all those resources, read the videos on the resource. I mean, watch the videos on the resources. Take advantage of all of that inside of there, because it's important to putting you on the right track.
For sure, especially for someone who is maybe has an elementary school kid, an elementary school age kid who has never even had access to AAC, and they're presuming he or she, or what, to be incompetent, right? They're always presumed to be incompetent because presuming competence is not the norm in the school system, especially if you don't have access to language. So they're probably dealing with a whole lot of these words over here, being called defiant, non-compliant, doesn't understand, all of these things that are just not accurate, right? Like, because that kid doesn't have access to language. So I think that it's really important to kind of shift shift your mind frame, especially maybe for educators, to presume competence and what that's all about. I think that's super important. Super important. My favorite thing about Coach app is that AssistiveWare almost like makes you message them, right? Like, so with Proloquo to Go, and AssistiveWare has always been very responsive, right? Like
extremely responsive, very, very, very.
They want you to have whatever your questions are answered. I mean, look at them. They're in the chat right now, like answering every single question that they possibly can. And like, this is not even an AssistiveWare production, right? This is just me. And they're in my comment section because they know, like, AssistiveWare wants all people to have access to language. They want all people who support them to have access to the best information that they can have, and to the best, any question that they have, they want to answer it, right? But in the past, like with Proloquo to Go, when I started, like I joined a support group. AssistiveWare has one for parents and it has one for educators. And so I joined them to ask questions, and maybe Pam will come back, or they have a lot of people on their team that will come back and answer questions. But it's not instant, and it's not guaranteed anybody's gonna hit you back, right? Maybe somebody went on vacation, and so you're just stuck with this question about how to do something. On Proloquo Coach, I think in the first chapter of Proloquo Coach, they like make you message them like 5 times. They're like, message us with how you're feeling about this lesson, or message us with a question that you have, or message. And it just keeps on like making you message, so that you know that you are not alone when it comes to this process. And yes, they will message you back. Like, real people are going to read your message. And I think right now it says like within 24 hours, right? But it didn't take 24 hours for them to message me back when I messaged them. I messaged them on like 4 different chapters, and they're like,
yeah, it was right away. Yeah.
Blowing up, right? And I'm like,
yeah.
Tiffany and I beta tested these apps. So that's how we know a lot about them. So I'm like, I'm just beta testing. Like, you don't actually have to write me back. And they're like, oh no, we love to do this. Like, we want to talk to you. Like, how transformative is that?
And also, I think it's important to know that they, as a team, do speak with the adult users regularly. And so they have a lot of knowledge just in how it's used by AAC users, not just from the app's perspective, but from a full-time and part-time AAC users perspective, because like I said, there are regular routine chats with the adults and the AAC users. So it's not like you're just getting to somebody who, in that particular team that we're talking about, it's not like you're just getting to somebody who is like a developer or something. You're also talking to people who know it as a user as well.
It's so true. It's so true. And Alyssa I'll put this back up here. Alyssa said that AssistiveWare has a group for adults users too, and she's in that. Yes. And I will say also, like, as you ask questions and as you don't understand something, when I tell you that they're not only responding to your question, but they're saying, uh-oh, we need to fix something, right? And especially with the adult AAC users, they are really taking your suggestions and your feedback and your complaints and your everything and saying, oh, let's fix this. Let's see how we can fix this. issues about
and that's from a variety of disabilities, not just like autism or one disability, but the adult users are made up of people of a variety of disabilities that use AAC.
That's great to know. That's great to know. Hi, Kia. So happy that you're here. Kia is in my Partners in Policy Making class. I'm so happy you made it. Okay, so we talked about Coach. I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about when it comes to Coach. Is there anything else that we missed? There's lots of videos. There's lots of links to further reading. It encourages questions and dialogue.
Coach comes with Proloquo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Coach is basically it's a bundle. When you get Proloquo, $9.99 a month subscription, it is a bundle where you have Proloquo Coach as a separate app, but it is included when you get Proloquo. So when you download Proloquo, you sign up for an AssistiveWare account, and then they email you. You say, email me the Proloquo Coach at this email address or something, and that so my son has his app Proloquo, and on my phone I have the Coach, right? So I don't have to have it on the same device because that's not going to work. It's not going to work. My Proloquo Coach is on my phone, so I can do it when I'm just hanging out. I can do it anytime. I can, when I have a question, when Jay and I are not figuring something out, I can go on my Coach on my phone and ask the question. And I mean, I don't want to hold them to some high level of 30 seconds response time. I'm not going to do that. But within a decent amount of time, somebody is getting back with you. So it is not Android compatible. This is only for iPads. It's not even, Proloquo is only for the iPad. It is not for the iPhone, because this is geared towards children up to school age, right? Up to adulthood. It's geared towards elementary school children, up to middle school. And then by that time, adult AAC users, hopefully they'll have different things that they're doing, right? Multimodal communications or whatever. But the iPad is the most bestest. It is the best medium for what the kids need.
For tablets, iPads are better for tablets. Yeah. Just I've had multiple different tablets, and yeah,
for sure. So and it will not change over to Android. There's not going to be a changeover, I don't believe. Pam will go through that in the comments. But for what I've learned is that AssistiveWare is only making apps for Apple, and that makes their product, it makes it sustainable for them. Is something that we've talked about before. Hey Dana, it's good to see you here. Okay, so we've talked about Coach, we talked about Proloquo, we talked about Proloquo Coach, which is the bundle apps. And I want to talk about the possibilities, because this is my favorite part of this breakthrough in AAC. When you have Proloquo to go, there are some sharing availabilities. I think you can have it on up to 5 devices. So you can have on Proloquo to go, you can have your vocabulary on your iPad, you can have it on your phone, you can have it on maybe your iPad at school. I think it's up to 5. Pam will correct me in the comments if it's not, and I'll look out for that. Proloquo, the new app, has unlimited sharing capabilities. Unlimited sharing. I will say that 5 times. I did not believe Pam when she told me the first time. unlimited sharing. That means whoever you want on your kids' team, they will have access to the vocabulary and to this app for free. And it may not make sense to you right now why they would do that, but it makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so that means, let me see. Oh, no, Megan, what? What did I do? Okay, this is for Proloquo to go. You can install any app on all of the devices you own for personal use. Okay, so keep correcting me if I'm wrong, Pam, but I know I'm right. So when you have Proloquo and you download Proloquo for your kid on their device, on your Proloquo Coach app, you can create a team. Or on your AssistiveWare account, you can create a team for your kid, right? And so I want his teacher on his team. I want the principal of the school on his team. I want, dad, mom, sister, brother. I want whoever on the team. And they will all have access to his vocabulary. And the possibilities that come with this are just incredible. Okay, Pam is let me know. Yes, you can invite your child's teacher, therapist, grandparents, babysitters, siblings, BFFs, and they get Proloquo for free. They don't have to pay. They can sign them. They give you their email address, and then you add them to the team, and AssistiveWare sends them the directions to install it. So that means the school year is starting in August or whatever, right? Let's say your kid transitions to Proloquo and it's working out for your kid. The possibilities of this are that you could say, hey, I want kids in this class to be able to figure out like how Jay communicates, right? Like, hey, Jay is going to be in your class this year. Jay uses this to communicate most of the time. If your kid wants to learn about this, or if your kid wants to, explore this, they can do that ahead of time. They can do that before the school year starts. As soon as classes get, registered and whatever, they can do that before the school year starts. So that means that not only does Jay know about AAC in that class, every single kid in his class, theoretically, knows about AAC. Every kid's parents, because, they can't do it themselves, every kid's parents knows about AAC now, right? And we're broadening consciousness of AAC to the public right now with Proloquo.
The teacher and the principal already got it too.
Yeah, they get it too, right? They're on the team, first and foremost. Teacher, principal. That means when the principal comes in to visit the class, on the principal's iPad, principal has Jay's vocabulary right here. Principal's using Proloquo when he or she comes in to the class to talk. Modeling Proloquo, has learned Proloquo, can mess with it at home and figure it out, right? Can explore it and like, how does this work and how do I find things? That means that the principal who may only see your kid once a week will know more about how to interact with your kid and how to model that and make it normalized, make it part of, to me, this makes AAC become part of the whole language learning, right? Total language, when we're talking about kids are learning language through sign language, right? They're learning language through speech. They're learning language through pictures. Now they're learning language through AAC. And it's part of it, right? The possibilities for this, and this is why I say it's life-changing. When they came up with unlimited sharing, I just knew that it would change Jay's world. right? That means that the head of the AT department, the assistive technology department at the school system is getting this. She needs it, right? So now she knows about Proloquo. I mean, it's
Siblings. Siblings are so important. Like maybe just as important or maybe more important than parents
right.
because they're the age and the generational thing. And if they're using that every day with their siblings, like that's just like uh exponentially expanding the modeling possibilities.
It's the multiplier effect. It is. Like when you have this AAC, which for years until now has been gate kept up here, right? With the assistive technology department at the school system or the assistive technology department at the hospital. And they are the only ones who are like making these decisions and know anything about it. And when you take that power, that knowledge, and you bring it down here to parents and to teachers and to parents, friends of the parents, and to like the ground level, like we're here on planet Earth, right? Like needing AAC. And like, I just, for example, Jay had a new teacher, right? This year. Two new teachers this year. None of them had any training or any experience teaching someone who uses AAC, and they had one day of AAC training, which is better than before, right? They had one day of AAC training before the school year started. One. And that's for every kid in the building, right? Who might be on different apps or whatever. That is not enough. It's not enough, right? And that's better than it was in previous years, because in previous years there wasn't that. Right? So now I can add Jay's teacher for next year in the summertime. Jay's teacher can be at the beach chilling, looking at, okay, how do I do this? All right, let me go to this home screen, and oh gosh, what is this? Oh, that's a part of speech. I can do parts of speech here, and oh, if I click on this, it has all this. Oh, I teach science too. There's the whatever unit element. Oh, there's a periodic table. Like, can be looking at it and just letting it marinate on how I can model this. How can I incorporate this into my lessons? Because it's so easy.
And they can make their lesson plans with that particular student's individual AAC. And as Pam noted, that it's always up to date. Anytime it's on the main app that it's customized, it automatically does that change to everybody else's device. And this is be like something good for summer camps. Like, if you get to summer camp and it's the first day, you have some like usually like some young adult or some teen camp counselor,
Oh,
they would
yeah.
love to, have that, they almost always have iPads anyway. So
Right.
yeah. So yeah, it can go everywhere, literally everywhere.
And then
Everywhere,
in my
everywhere
mind,
there's an iPad.
right. And in my mind, so I'm talking to Pam about this. When she first talked about unlimited sharing as an educator, right? As a former elementary school teacher and as a parent, I know that there are kids that are in third grade who need AAC, who don't have AAC. I know that in the educator groups I'm in, and we're talking about, okay, well, can you get your student assessed for an AAC, an AAC assessment? And they're like, well, my district doesn't really have an AT department, and I don't know who to go through. And, there's all this bureaucracy in the school systems. there's going to be a teacher option for this, right? There's going to be a teacher account option for this. But for me, if I was an educator, sorry, Pam, I would be getting it for myself, right? In my class. If I had a preschool class, I'm getting this for me in my class, right? I'm going to get the Proloquo. I'm going to use Proloquo with my kids. I don't know any kid that can't benefit from AAC. I don't know of any kids that can't benefit.
Every kid should have one. Every single kid.
I mean,
disability
when we're talking
or
about
no disability.
English language learners, you know, I had a kid in Jay's class that he was a Spanish speaker, a native Spanish speaker. So he's learning English. How could he not benefit from this, right? So if I'm a teacher, I'm getting it for me and I'm sharing it with my parents.
And the kid, it has the color coded parts of speech, the related words. Like, how could that not be helpful for anybody?
Yes. When we're talking about linking verbs, we're talking about the non-action verbs. I mean, you can incorporate this into anything. And when you're an educator and you know you are not serving your students the way they should be served, I know that's frustrating. I know that it's frustrating to not have the training. I have been approached by teachers upon teachers upon teachers that say, hey, we need resources. We need to be serving our students better. Like those teachers want these kids in their class. They want to include them, right? And they're getting segregated from the jump. But if more teachers had the tools, had the resources, had the knowledge, had the access to AAC, it's gonna be life-changing. It really is. And if you think about it, like if I'm a teacher and I'm sharing it with my parent, like my school, my class team. Sorry, Pam. I know that I'm breaking rules probably, but I mean, I am the type of teacher who asks for forgiveness, not for permission. I'm gonna work with what I can get. I'm sharing it with the parents in my kids in my class, so that maybe they can learn about AAC. Maybe they'll want to try it. Maybe they'll get their own accounts, right? And that's when people say, why would they do unlimited sharing? That doesn't seem like a good business model, but it is, because nobody knows about AAC. And the exponential effect that this is going to have on the consciousness of AAC, just the knowledge that AAC is available, that's where the business model comes in. The more people know about it, the more people who will find value in it and want to get it for themselves, right? So excited about this. Pam did not get me in trouble up here. Okay, Pam didn't say I was in trouble. All right, good. And for doctors, like for my kid's doctor who was like, hey, you know, Jay could really benefit from AAC. All doctors have iPads. If he had that to show the twins when we were just in the appointment, like, hey, check this out. Like, you know, just playing with it and modeling it and just showing parents like, oh, this is available right now for your iPad right now. You can go home and get this.
And also for that, he could tell you what to customize for the appointment ahead of time, because a lot of kids and adults would like to know about things ahead of time. So the doctor could tell you, okay, put this word on the device, and then, you know,
for sure. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, you can take this as far as, you can just take it as far as you want. And just to have that cheap, you know, relatively cheap subscription on your iPad for any provider or any doctor or any educator, just to have it up there. Like, you see somebody in the supermarket have you seen this? Where you can download it too. So I just think that the possibilities for inclusion, like the impact that this will have on inclusion, like on consciousness of AAC, is going to be it's going to transform. It's transformative. It really is transformative.
Exactly what you said. And Judy said that any of us at any time in life may need it. And so having that raised consciousness will help more people understand that. So this just happened. So it's been a few years since I found that although I can speak that I can use AAC, my best friend had COVID and lost her voice, and it's still not back in its full force. Like she can barely be heard and understood still, and it's been since December. So I was like, "Hey, guess what? There we go. We you have something." She knows me, so she knows about it. But
Right.
If she did not, like, this might be just a way that everybody's like, oh wait, there there are things you can do. You
Yeah,
don't
and
have
the
to
fact that not
communicate with
yeah, and
speech.
the fact that not enough people know about it as being out there so far, like more people knowing about it does help with that. Just, I mean, that exponential awareness of something like this being out there. So true.
Yes,
I
it
love
should
all
be
of these.
normalized.
Yeah, normalizing it, just making it a part of like daily life. Yeah, these are great questions that you're asking, and that is a good question. I do want to show this. Does the app come in other languages, Spanish, French, etc.? Right now, it only comes in English because it is just released. Like they just released it. I'm sure that there will be lots of different updates to it, and based on feedback, especially from AAC users. And so right now, it's not in other languages. I'm sure that it will be coming. I don't know how fast that happens. I just don't know. And I love, remember when you first set up the account, I loved how you can, like when you're first setting it up for your kid, you can choose the kid's skin color. That was awesome because I remember it took me like 2 years to figure out that I could change the colors of these stick people up here because they were all like really pale pinkish and my kids are brown. So like right off the bat, you choose your kids skin color, their accent or their voice that they want to have. Like it can be right now they don't have I think that they have the African American girl, but not the boy yet. Can't remember, but there's other accents. That there's an Australian accent. I can't remember what else. There were like 8 accents that you can choose from so far. And I'm not sure when the African American English boy version will come out. Probably soon. Do you know that, Tiffany?
I know, I think they've been chosen, but I don't know when they come out.
Yeah, they're like super close to finishing up on that. So, yeah, so you can customize it in that way. So you got like their skin tone, their voice, their name, their age. And I can't remember what else at that point.
Oh, I did want to say something about what I said earlier about the doctor can tell you what to add.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Pam noted that you can decide who has editing abilities. So, like, maybe the doctor can do it himself or herself.
That's right.
Themselves.
So, yeah, when you're building your team on the AssistiveWare platform, when you're building your kids' team, you can say, I want this person, this person, this person to be able to add and edit and be like admins of the app, or you can just have viewers, right? So like if I was going to send it to Jay's BFF at school, I don't want Jay's BFF adding any words to his, I don't want him messing with the vocabulary over here. So he would just be a viewer, right? So yeah, you can do that. Cass said, there are no silly questions. Is there an undo button or function? Can't tell you how many times I've done something and been like, oh no, what did I just do on Proloquo to go? That is so true. I don't know the answer to that. Pam will tell you in the comments, but so Proloquo is much less, you're less able to mess it up. There's a lot more safeguards on Proloquo, the new app, than there are on Proloquo to go. Because yeah, you can really mess it up on Proloquo to go, and that does have like a backup, right? You have backups where you can say, okay, put it back to where it was a month ago, and we're
like
cool.
a restore.
Yeah,
function.
right. But I know in Proloquo, you just don't even have that many options to mess it up, right? You can't really, unless you're adding a button that you didn't want there and then you can just delete it. There's not that many customization options in Proloquo. And that's, it's got its pros and cons that we talked about in the beginning, about it being much more standardized and much more simple than Proloquo to go is. Yes, you did, Erin. Thank you. And we left a lot more space in the folders for users to add their own words. I appreciate that because that was an issue with me for Proloquo to go. Like I would always want to add a word in a folder and there's like no space. So then they have to go to like a whole nother page. And like, so in Proloquo, there is a lot of space left open for you to customize those words, you to add words. Yeah.
And I have added a lot of words to my, not just my main, like just like the icons, but also I have added my own related words as well.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that you could do that.
Yeah. There's space for you to add your own related words, which
That's
for
dope.
me is very good for. I can add slang because I forget because the kids use slang and I just I need to add slang so I remember what they mean.
Yeah, my mom was impressed that they had curse words in a folder. There's a folder for curse words. My mom was really impressed about that because my kids are gamers and they need to be able to let that out.
It's a part of gaming culture.
Right. They need to be able to let off that steam. Okay, so I think that we have gone over everything for now, that at least the basics, and there's lots of links for further reading in the comment section. I want to thank Pam and Erin and Tiffany and Kimberly and Angelina, my two admins. Pam and Erin are from AssistiveWare. I want to thank you all for being here. Tiffany is your own self, nigh functioning autism, and your links are in the comment section. Is there anything else you want to say, Tiffany?
Just I love this new app. I like how very clean it is, and the tabs at the top of each column are very important as part of making it like very clean, because when you touch the tab it gives you more of that color or that part of speech. Yeah, like that's the questions, the gray is the questions, it gives you more questions. And I love that. I love that idea. I love that. It's just really, it made it so very clean and organized, and
Very, right. And all the
it
folders.
really saves space.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they did such an amazing job. And maybe we'll have Erin on one day to kind of go through. Erin kind of took me through the process of how they made this app. I mean, it's a completely different program that they used to make it, and how they made related words, and it is so interesting. You have somebody that's like dedicating their entire life basically to vocabulary for this thing, and it's always updating. When we went through it, we added a couple more concept words, and it's up there already, right? Like it's in real time. They're listening, taking feedback, and just changing stuff. So it's always getting better, and it's always becoming more accessible. And that's what I really love about AssistiveWare. I mean, I really do. Like, I know there are lots of different companies. You know, Cough Drop is one, Lamp is one. And I have found that and this is not to discredit any other ones, right? But I have found that AssistiveWare has been so responsive and so concerned about just an ethical company, kind of.
Yeah, customer service is like beyond like awesome. Like, but just like in caring about our usage and responding with edits and changes. Yes, very.
Sure.
I would say yes. I have used other apps, but AssistiveWare is beyond top notch with that.
For sure. And I will definitely be creating a blog post this week. That is my goal for this week, is to make a blog post with kind of like everything that we've talked about, links for further reading, links to get the app, and links to AssistiveWare and all of that stuff, and the links to the discounts, how to get the discounts if you're a Proloquo to go user already. And I will be making that and posting it in the comment section when that's finished, and it'll be on my blog, which is notinautismmom.com. It'll be there. And yeah, so I'll be doing that this week, just kind of summarizing everything we talked about. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can still continue to post them in the comment section, or you can go over to AssistiveWare and, you know, do it that way. I mean, it's however you want to do it.
And remember, this is because of the way that it is accessed through the subscription model. It's a lot more accessible to a lot more people who don't have a big chunk at once. So yeah. I just wanted to make that.
It's so true. And also, if you are using a different app, remember that all robust AAC system apps go on sale in April. So if you are going to be using, if Proloquo to Go is right for you, or if Lamp is right for you, there is, I'll put that picture. Somebody makes a picture every year, twice a year. I'll put that picture for the discount days in the comments.
It's Laura S. Enders.
Thank you, Laura S. Enders. And she has her own page. You can go over there and check it out. And she does a great job every time there are sales in April, then sales in October for AAC Awareness Month. So if you are looking for one of those other apps, they go on sale for most of the time, half off in April. But only for specific days. It's not all of April. They like to, you know.
You really have to pay attention to the weeks those discounts are available.
Yeah,
and some apps go on sale for a week in May for Speech Therapy Week or something, or SLP Week or something like that.
I did not know that. Thank you for that. So yeah, so that is still an option if that's what you're doing. And I think Kimberly and Angelina have put in the comment section another article that I wrote about what is an AAC device, what is AAC, and how to get it for your kid. I have not updated it with this new app yet, but everything else is there. So if you're looking at a different app and you want to get it covered by insurance or whatever, all of that information is there. If you want to get it covered through school, all of that information is in that blog post as well. So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for coming. Hang on the line. I'm going to end the broadcast and we'll be back in the studio. Bye, everyone. See you next time.